This is Amy Alton, also known as Nurse Amy of doomandbloom.net. I am an advanced registered nurse practitioner and a certified nurse midwife, and also I run store.doomandbloom.net, where you can find lots of great survival and medical supplies. So today we're going to talk specifically about disaster supplies category food. So people say, how many people am I going to need food for? Well, it is going to depend on how many family members you have, how many people have said to you, gee, I'm going to come to your house because maybe I'm a little unsafe, or you just got a lot of friends and family. So you always want to over prepare with the food, not just how many people happen to be living in your house. So take a look at what you have right now. See what constitutes a meal. You know, you might have a lot more food than you think, and you might not need to purchase a whole lot more. So go into the cabinet, take a look. You want to look at things that aren't expiring quickly. You're not going to count the milk or the bread. You're going to look at things that are canned, that have longer shelf lives, things that are sealed, like rice and pasta. Great things also to have are peanut butter and, where's my tuna? Right there. Awesome sources of protein. And who doesn't like a tuna sandwich? Now, the problem with this is you're not going to be able to add mayo unless you're sneaky and you picked up those mayo packets from the fast food restaurants when you were there. So think about that when you're there, and also ketchup. So if you have the little mayonnaise packets, that's fine. What you're not going to want to be doing is going in and out of your refrigerator to get food. You need to leave that alone. In fact, you should only be opening a refrigerator once a day. Now, how do you keep your refrigerator nice and cold to keep those foods in there colder, longer, and fresher longer? Take Tupperware containers. You can't fill them to the top because water expands when it freezes, but you want to fill it most of the way, maybe about 80%. Go ahead and put a lid on it, stick those in your freezer, fill up the freezer. As you make the ice, if you have styrofoam containers, which I recommend having, make sure you have a couple of coolers so you can take the ice out of the freezer and put them in the cooler so you have even more storage for cold, and guess what? When these melt, you got nice fresh water. Another thing you might consider besides just the containers of water is those water bottles that you cleared the shelves off in the grocery store. You can put those in, but remember, these expand too, so you're going to have to open this and pour a little out. Go ahead and drink it if you want, but try not to get backwash. But you're going to have to pour some of this out. These may expand so much that they crack. I cannot vouch for the texture and the thickness of these plastics. Some of these are so thin, it's almost like paper. In fact, when you hold them, they squish. So this might explode if it's this full, unfortunately. So you're going to have to make that decision whether you want to get rid of a little water or not. So think about what makes a complete meal. A really popular combination is rice and beans. Hopefully your whole family likes that. That's going to get boring though. Make sure you have a nice variety. You might consider some freeze-dried foods. There's lots of brands. This one happens to be Mountain House. Another brand that I actually really like is Mary Jane Farms. There's Wise Foods. You also can look for the 5-gallon containers of food that are so amazingly packed that they might actually last for 30 years. It's incredible. In fact, some of these foods claim to last 30 years. These are a little bit more convenient than having to actually fry or cook in a pan, because you can actually fill this container right here up with the boiling water and fold it down and let it sit for the number of minutes. So these are actually cooking pouches too, so you don't have to use a pot and pan for those. They do make some nice combinations. Again, a variety of food. You don't want to serve peanut butter sandwiches every day at 2 o'clock and tuna fish every day at 8 o'clock at night. Gonna get super boring. Another thing is you might be busy maybe trying to fix something or repair something, or chopping wood, or doing other activities, maybe getting some water ready. You want to have some real good energy bars. You want to have something that people can just real quickly open up and eat, not yucky stuff like Snickers bars, although those are delicious, but they're not going to give you a lot of nutrition. So make sure you have some really nutritious quick to eat bars. You want to make sure that you maybe flavor some of that water, not necessarily Gatorade, but maybe a fruit flavor so that people aren't just drinking water. Again, you don't want to make this so boring and so monotonous that people go insane. So think about flavoring some water. Now, if someone does have dehydration, they've been sweating a lot outside from doing something like fixing or cutting down wood, starting fires, then you're going to definitely want some rehydration packets. So that's a really good thing. Crackers are good, boxes of pasta, we already talked about rice, and you may want to store these things in a specific area. So I have a plastic container back here. Oh, this is another thing for kids. Have something sugary and fun for them. Again, not necessarily chocolate because it might melt, but some pops, some little treats. Make it fun for them. All right, well, this is not all the food in the world that's possible for you to get, so you're gonna have to kind of be creative, think about it, but it's definitely something you wanna cover, have more than you need for just your family. This is Nurse Amy from Doom and Bloom. Thanks for listening.
Hey, if you need a solid medical kit for that wilderness hike, hunting trip, or even long-term survival, check out Nurse Amy's entire line at store.doomandbloom.net. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.